and I have to stay back and fight, which meant dying that night.
I'm sure you saw a lot. I'm sure a lot of different things happened. Is there one particular moment? Is there like the scariest incident that you ever had to deal with in your detail?
Um, 9/11 was a moment when I was certain that I was not going to make it. And what happened during the day, everyone's aware of, but there was another incident later that night when we were back at the White House. We had the president and first lady. They were in bed, and we got the call that there was another aircraft out there and that it was headed for the White House at a very high rate of speed. And so we had our protocols, we had our game plan down, and so based on the trajectory, on the height and the speed, we knew that we did not have much time at all. And so my good friend Jeff was the shift leader that night, and it was really an easy decision, but he made it. Which was that we had to evacuate the White House. And so no little thing. We practiced this a lot, but the opportunity never presented itself with the president and first lady in tow. And so he had to go wake them up, and we had to escort them and make that evacuation. And again, you do these preparations, you practice, you rehearse and all that stuff, and it's all good and well until it's done under stress with the president and first lady who were very agreeable, thankfully, to the whole scenario and gracious about everything. But without the preparation, the opportunity comes and you miss it. And so I 9/11 certainly was a close call for me. It turned out that it really wasn't it was a plane that was headed for the White House, but it was a military jet that just was on the wrong channel. And so he couldn't identify, he was on the wrong frequency and all this stuff. But the crazy thing was that with our protocol at that time, one person had to stay back and fight, which was, we were prepared for a ground attack, really. And so it's almost like duck, duck, goose. And we played duck, duck, goose that night, and I was the goose. So it was based on where you were positioned when the call went to evacuate. And so, I realized immediately that I'm the goose and I have to stay back and fight, which meant dying that night because it was an aircraft and not some sort of ground attack. So me with my gas mask, my machine gun, and my pistol were just not going to survive a plane crashing into the White House at 500 miles an hour. So you make your preparation both physically and professionally, but you have to make that preparation personally as well to be ready to give that sacrifice and do what has to be done. And the neat thing was I was able to do that with total confidence and peace that night. Number one, knowing what to do professionally, it just had to be done. But also personally, I wasn't, no misgivings at all about making that sacrifice. Just had to do what you had to do.
Yeah. Wow. Incredible story there, and I can't imagine the situation. That's about as high stakes as it gets. There's a plane coming directly for the White House. You are on detail to protect the president. You got to evacuate the White House. Your number comes up as the person that's staying behind. Boy, that's just everything is in alignment. There's almost like the perfect storm for holy smokes, this is happening, right? So I can't even imagine what was going through your mind. But you say you were at peace. In the Secret Service, cheating death meant there was a planned attack on somebody's life. You thwarted that. You cheated death that day. What's the other definition that you have for cheating death?
Yeah. Well, thank you for asking, Dennis. It's obviously near and dear to me, and because of what it means to me. But cheating death, not only a professional thing that we kind of joked about, kind of chided each other about our mission with the president. It was a nice way to sort of poke at each other and remind each other of how vigilant you have to be in the job and sort of the consequences if we aren't hyper focused and vigilant on what needs to be done. But the same is true in our personal life. And so for me, it was knowing that my salvation was secure and knowing that I had eternity with my God and my Savior already done deal. meant that I could cheat death that night. And even if I did die, it wouldn't be the end of the road. So there's a verse in the Bible that says, "Oh death, where's your victory? Oh death, where is your sting?"
Yeah.
And for followers of Jesus Christ, the confidence that you have going into a situation like that means that even if you die, number one, that it was God's will, and number two, that He's got you, and that you don't
Yeah.
suffer death you forever. You get to spend eternity with Him. And
Yeah.
so cheating death means that when you die, you enter right into life, and so you go
Yeah.
from life to life. You just pass through a momentary death and enjoy a relationship forever with Christ.